burning issue of the electronic industry nowadays.
So, good afternoon, all. Thank you, Mukesh. It was a nice, interactive, informative session on the thermal paste. Our electronic industry has been always evolving, and that too in a very fast pace. And the application area is also very diverse. So far, all the speakers before me spoke about the material, the chemistry part of it. So I'll try to cover on the application. So what we discussed in our morning session, it's not having the right chemistry, but how you apply it equally important, and that is what is really deliver you the complete solution to your problem or your requirement. So coming to Graco give, as I told, we give the solution on the dispensing front, be it be any industrial fluid. So today we speak about the dispensing majorly on the electronics front. So be it be the general industry electronics, like our class 1 or 2, like the general home appliances, or it could be the mobile phones, or the class 3, the higher defense, or the medical equipments. So electronics is very complex, and based on its application area, or where the area of operation is, it is very important to consider the applicable application area right from the design stage. So we have a complete solutions for handling the different industrial fluids while you manufacture the PCB, right from the bare PCB assembly up to the complete box build. So the application can be like this. Mr. Bapu has already explained the potting application, and Mukesh has explained on the thermal paste already. So we give the equipments. They have spoke about the chemistry part of it. But in Graco, we give the equipments for handling all those industrial fluids, be it be the thermal paste application, or be it be the SMT adhesive for holding the components, or the complete potting of the box or your product, and of course your sealing of your component. And coming to auto electronics, a lot of investment happening in the EV segment. So EVs also have a lot of electronics parts, be it be the onboard chargers, AC/DC converters, or the motor control assembly, have a lot of sealing or the fluid handling application in the system. So we give the complete solution for handling it. So we'll see what are the consideration in the dispensing process. So when you have to choose the right equipment for your process, initially or foremost, you should know what kind of chemistry you're using. So when I say one part, it is like you take the material from your container and apply it directly without further processing. Either you apply it manually, or you use an automated system for applying it directly from the container. And when I say two part, it is like, you mix hardener and resin, or base and catalyst, or part A and part B, however you say it in the industry. You mix it in certain ratio and then apply on your component. So it is very important for us to know what we are applying, what chemistry it is, and how should we process the material. So we should know what chemistry, is it a silicon, is it a PU, or it's a hot melt PUR. So we really have to understand the chemistry foremost. And of course, the handling parameters, like, what is the viscosity of the material, what is the specific gravity of the material, because all these features or all these properties of the material help us in choosing the right solution or the right dispensing, the dispensing setup to give you the solution. So it can be the moisture sensitivity, how sensitive it is to moisture, because sometimes if it is really sensitive to moisture, then we need to have a special handling for those kind of material, or if it requires some temperature conditioning, so we have to have that. And of course, the packing size of the material. So in what packing the material comes, whether it is supplied in a small packing or in a bigger packing like 20-liter pail or 200-liter pail, accordingly you should design your dispensing machine. Of course, this packing size is coming from your requirement, the user's kind of consumption or consumption volume, so they can wisely design or decide what kind of packing size they should go for. And at least, we should know the curing, like how after dispensing, how we should handle the material, after how the curing process has to be. So typically we address the application like sealing or potting, gasketing, greasing, or thermal paste dispensing application. And coming to single part, which we just discussed, so single part material generally have a lot of challenges, like, like when you apply it manually, you don't have a repeatability, you don't have a proper inconsistency. I mean, you have like more material using somewhere and less material somewhere. So all these can be, eliminated with a better process using a complete dispensing station with a complete process control. So I'll just show you a video where it shows like when you have a complete process control, how the dispensing can be ideally. So you can define your process, you can define your recipe with very smooth starting and ending, no tail heads. So that is the benefit of having an automated system, or rather a proper dispensing system chosen for your application. And of course, your wastage is also very critical. If the wastage of the material is also very critical. Like when you're going for a manual process, you should be very careful that you don't overuse the material. Of course, that is also adding to your total cost of the system. So having involved, using a Greco, positive displacement system, we offer proper dispensing with less wastage.
Just like turning the faucet on and off, and each time expecting the same flow and same amount, time and pressure systems can be just as inconsistent. Unexpected changes in material viscosity due to local environmental conditions can cause critical fluctuations in fluid dispense. Because of temperature changes, the variations in viscosity are often why regulators need to be adjusted several times a day. You end up wasting expensive material and valuable time you could be using to get your job out the door. In contrast, our positive displacement valve delivers precise, repeatable shot dispensing every time. Every single time. For smaller, controlled volume dispensing, in blind cavity uses, for example, our Greco displacement valves achieve precision dispense each time the valve is open. Quite unlike the waste that occurs with a time pressure dispense. With positive displacement, we dispense only what is needed. With time and pressure, there is volume variation, unwanted material waste, and extra production costs. With Greco's positive displacement valves, you can easily alleviate changes in material, viscosity, and plant air pressure. There is no need for frequent, time-consuming regulator adjustments anymore. Comparing the two systems will give you a better understanding of why Greco positive displacement technology is the better choice when uncontrollable variables affect how much material gets dispensed. For this test, we compared 33 identical shots of material. One set was dispensed with a time and pressure valve, and the other through a positive displacement valve. Temperature and shear sensitivity could be reflected in the test results. With this chart, you can see the inconsistencies in the time and pressure results indicated by the red line. The blue line shows the accuracy and reliable dispense of our positive displacement system. We repeated this test on a different day to show the effects of altered ambient temperature and air pressure. The results were once again obvious. The precision of Greco positive displacement systems consistently outperforms typical time and pressure systems. Given the results, you can see how the precision of a Greco positive displacement valve can save you time and material costs. With time and pressure, volume goes up, waste goes up, profits go down. With the precision dispense of positive displacement, you get the same volume every time, which means waste goes down and profits go up. Greco dispense systems. Repeatable, reliable, precise.
So in the manufacturing front, these are all very important points to be considered. So how precisely we dispense, how accurate we dispense, and end of the day, what is the throughput we get with minimum shutdown. So another advantage, or you should look at, is the switching from the or considering the bigger pail size. So we generally we see customers, even though have a good volume, they feel, I am getting this at a very less price, I'll go for a cartridge, I'll continue using a cartridge. But if you look at it in a different way, we have a better advantage if we go for a bulk packing. Straight away, a customer will save on the, the per kg cost on the material. because when you buy in bulk and buy in a smaller packing, the per kg cost is always higher for your smaller packing. And of course, they can reduce the material wastage. So up to 10-15% material wastage can be reduced when they shift from cartridge to the pail system. So when they shift from the cartridge to pail system, there itself customer is having enough ROI so as to invest on the machine. So it makes sense for the customer to invest on a machine from a bulk packing system rather than having a cartridge system. Of course, they should have a right volume to invest on the, go for a bulk packing. But if they have a fair volume, it is always advisable to have a better bulk packing. And along with that, they get all these benefit of, the consistent dispensing, and, they can have a multiple workstation from a single pump. If they use, you can see the layout here like this, they can use a centralized pump, and they can take a multiple outlets for dispensing, multiple drop points for the dispensing. And these heads can be even mounted on the robot, and they can make it as a complete, robotic process as well. And coming to the two-part system, the typical application can be, encapsulation or bonding or sealing kind of application. When I say two-part, it's, as we said, just discussed, it's mixing of hardener and resin in ratio and then applying on your component. So there are different ways of doing it. Some customer mix it manually. They bring hardener and resin in 2 different cups, weigh it in a weigh scale, and then they mix it manually and then apply on the component. So that is purely manual process, and it is completely dependent on the operator's skill. So that is one way of doing it, and other way is a semi-automatic machine where you will have a meter mix dispensing machine, which has the capability to, to meter the material in the right ratio you want to mix it and deliver the right quantity which you want to dispense on your component. And then customer bring the, the user bring the component down the machine and do the dispensing on the component. And the other is on the complete automated process, where the entire dispensing setup they can hook up with a robot, and then the entire system become automatic, and then they program it as per the program. They do the dispensing on the component. So manual process is always challenging. As I told, like, there is a lot of possibilities or chances for, miss ratio or over component, over usage, that is wastage. All these are the challenges in the manual process. So we can see a video on the manual process. The quality of mixing itself is getting affected when we do the process manually. So he's mixing the hardener and resin manually, and then stirring it with a stick. So you can see the bubbles are getting introduced when you do the process. Try to do it manually. And here we don't have the control or track of what process is happening, how much material he's doing. Everything is completely dependent on the operator skill. Whereas when you go for a automated system or a meter mix dispensing machine, you have an accuracy, you have 100% ensure that you are getting the right mixing ratio. You can be ensured that you are getting the right quantity dispense on the component. And of course, it is bubble free. We have a different conditioning of the material we can do with the help of the machine as per the material requirement. We can do the degassing, we can do the recirculation, we can do the preheating of the material. As per the process requirement, we can do the conditioning of the material. So that is possible, which is not possible or easy with the manual process. And of course, one of the critical feature or the critical requirement of today is the data or the traceability. Like, you do some process that day, what I did on that day, I cannot trace it back. But when you use a proper machine, proper meter mix dispensing machine, you have complete data traceable. Like, you can download it, or you can connect it to your centralized PLC and download it and keep it for your future references. So that helps in the quality point of view also. At any point of time, if they have a field failures, customer can always recheck what was the profile or what was the recipe which he done on that day and what was the process he has done. So why a dispensing machine? So in short, if we discuss on that, I should say ease of using the process. Your entire process is easy. You don't make your workstation dirty. You have a proper dispensing setup right from the pump to the applicator. You have everything automized. You don't have much interaction of the operator with the machine. And of course, the consistent quality. You are ensured that what process is said, what recipe is said, machine is delivering you the right thing. And then the repeatability of the process, and of course your throughput increases. Like you are less dependent on your manpower, and your downtime is really less, and you have a better, faster production, and the data capture which we just discussed for the complete process evaluation. So the cost comes down and the efficiency and the quality improves. So while considering the equipment, as we discussed, we have a lot of complex material available in the market. So understanding of the material and the variation of the material, the property of the material is something we should really look into it. It is like most of the time when we customers say it is 1:1 or 2:1, they just they don't really stress or really understand the complexity in understanding the material property. So that is a very critical aspect which, as a machine point of view or as a user point of view, we should understand even before making a decision for an equipment. And process efficiency and throughput requirement, like how much flow or how much productivity customer is looking for, we should definitely have a clear idea before selecting the right equipment. And of course, the scope of process optimization. Today, I will do a semi-automatic process. Tomorrow, I want to go for a complete automation system. What is the scope of improvement? In customer point of view, we should have that also in the consideration. And of course, machine is more accurate compared to the manual process, and the total cost of ownership is also very much important. So how much wastage is coming down, or wastage is high, or the maintenance point of view, what is the spares, or what is the support availability, or the energy consumption, or the labor cost. All these put together help in assessing the cost of ownership. And of course, availability of the total solution. So when customer most of the time, they don't want to buy only a dispensing machine only a machine and automation from some other. So customer or a user always like to have a complete solution. So Greco provide a complete solution for the dispensing. We have inline and offline machines available for availing the complete dispensing solution. I'll just play the video on that. So Greco can be considered as a partner in giving a complete solution as far as the dispensing process is concerned. So we, right from the material handling, the mixing, and the delivery and the dispensing, the entire solution can be provided by Greco. And in this particular automation system which I showed, it is a completely integrated Greco software which communicate with our dispensing system, and it ensures that you have a very easy programming and quick programming and easy interface with the operator. So we have a technical center in Gurgaon. So if any of you or your customer or your factory colleagues want to have a trial or a demonstration, or you want to try out the process and qualify the process, even if you are looking at, even far before you are looking for an investment on the machine, you're welcome. We have a technical center in Gurgaon. So we have all 6-axis, 3-axis robot available. We can do the actual stimulation or actual process trial and qualify the process. We are always there to help you, or it's mutual. We will work together on similar projects. And thank you very much. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Rakesh. Wonderfully, you touched the crucial points of information, like once you select the chemistry, the process and application is equally important so that the perceived benefit is truly achieved.